So this is your brain. Imagine your brain is a toy that runs on batteries. Bad batteries means that your brain doesn't work well. Good batteries means that it works amazingly. And every day you're choosing which batteries you put in. Let's call this the input-output system. And let me show you what I mean, because probably you're like, huh? So input is everything your brain absorbs and consumes. What you watch, what you read, what you listen to, what you eat and what you drink, who you spend your time with, your environment and the energy you're exposed to, and your thoughts, what you think about all day and what you focus on. Oh, poor pizza. Let's add her in. Output is what your brain produces after processing all that input. This could be, for example, writing, drawing, or like filming a video. Oh, that is not a camera. Wait, how do I draw a camera? There's a camera. This looks better. Also coming up with ideas and problem solving. Could also be physical output like working out. What is that? Yes, this looks better. Or also like doing tasks and taking action. There's also mental and emotional output, like for example how you show up in your relationships, how you handle stress and challenges, and also the quality of your work and focus. By the way, your energy level, your motivation and your mood, these aren't outputs. These are conditions your brain is in based on how well it processed the input.
And maybe this doesn't make any sense to you at all. Like,
see, but let me give you an example soon, so hopefully everything will be clear. Think of it like this. If you feed your brain good input, for example with food or also like positive content, it has a chance to also produce good output. But if you feed your brain trash, for example junk food, or like negative content, or like constant stress, it really struggles to produce anything good because it needs to like deal with all the bad things you fed your brain with. It can really struggle to produce anything meaningful because it needs to deal with all the trash you've been feeding it. So bad output. Let me show you what this could look like in real life. This is Natalie. She's a regular person. She tries to be productive and be healthy, but something is not working. So let's follow Natalie throughout her day to see what her input and output system looks like. It's 7 a.m. Natalie wakes up right now and the first thing she does, guess. Exactly. She goes on her phone. So the input she's giving us is she is instantly getting stressed because she's reading through her work emails, she is scrolling on Instagram for 20 minutes and also reading about some really bad news, like with really negative headlines. The moment she goes on Instagram and starts scrolling, she's entering something what I call the passenger mode. In passenger mode, you're not driving, you're just sitting there and letting other people decide where you will go. So your brain is passively receiving every information it gets passively thrown at it. In passenger mode, you are not creating anything, you are just consuming, and here's the problem. When you start your day in passenger mode, it is most of the time really hard for your brain to get out there, so you're getting stuck in that passenger mode. It becomes really hard to switch to driver mode, where you are the one that decides what to create and what to work on. Research actually shows this. When your brain starts the day by consuming content, it releases dopamine from that instant gratification. And dopamine makes your brain want more instant gratification. So Natalie's brain is immediately trained to be in passenger mode instead of driver mode when she wakes up. 8 a.m. She grabs a quick breakfast, like a cup of coffee, some sugar cereal. That's a cute bowl. No, wait. And like a cigarette. When you eat high sugar food right thing in the morning, your blood sugar is gonna spike a lot. Look, that is a spike. And it crashes like, okay. Do you see the crash? Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. And this crash directly affects your brain's ability to focus and make decisions. I read in a study that studies show that blood sugar instability is linked to brain fog, poor concentration, and mood swings. It doesn't sound really good for Natalie right now. Natalie's brain is already dealing with the social media overstimulation and with the sugar roller coaster. At 9 a.m. she wants to sit down for work, but she's already cooked. She manages to do some work, but it takes her twice as long and the quality is also not that good. She started a task, but she couldn't concentrate, so she went for another coffee. And by 6 p.m. Natalie is home and just exhausted. So exhausted. She also has no motivation at all, and she just wonders why she's so tired. Okay, so let's look at it from a bigger picture. Do I say it like that? Bigger picture? Yes, I think so. So here's what's happening to most people, including Natalie. Her input throughout the day was so poor that her brain had no chance to produce good output. When your brain is processing constant notifications, junk food, negative news, it doesn't have the capacity left to produce good work or good ideas or take meaningful action. Your brain has something called cognitive load, and that is basically the limit how much your brain can process at once. So if you fill that capacity with only trash, guess what happens? Exactly. You will probably only get trash. It's like trying to run a marathon, but you didn't sleep for 24 hours and you only fed it with chocolate. So how do you expect your body to perform well when you only gave it chocolate? If you want to have good output, so creative ideas, energy for your goals, focus, you need to give your brain good input first. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, there are 2 steps. Step 1 is to upgrade your input. By the way, this isn't about being perfect or trying to eat only healthy food or like sleeping 10 hours a day, which is also not good, by the way. It's just about being intentional what you're gonna feed your brain. So here's what Natalie actually should do. Instead of scrolling on her phone, how about she gets up, make her bed, or does a 5-minute meditation, or just a quick journal entry, or a book. And instead of her sugary breakfast, how about Greek yogurt with nuts and a little bit of honey and like berries, or like eggs with avocado? Because the key here is that every input you give your brain will either help you or will kind of harm you. You're either setting yourself up to have a good day, or you're kind of making it harder for yourself. Step 2, this is like the whole video is about this topic, and it's just the rule: output before input. Just remember that from the video. So create before you consume, even if it's just like writing for your book for 5 minutes, or like working out for, oh, what is that? I mean, like, wait, how is it? Yes, a nice handle. Okay, working out, because the goal is to start your day in driver mode instead of passenger mode. If you have a battery, and this battery is really cheap, you just bought it like from the cheapest store, and you put it in your toy will probably be really slow, it dies quickly, and it's just gonna be frustrating to play with it. But if you buy the good batteries, so the expensive ones, by the way, I'm not saying that everything that is expensive is good, but just for like the battery example, you know, your toy will be amazing. It's fast, it lasts long, it does what you want. That is literally your brain. It is that easy. What you put in will directly affect what comes out. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most people, they wonder why they feel the way they feel. Like they feel stuck, they feel tired all the time, have no energy, when literally all they're doing is just feeding their brain trash. Please, tomorrow, do it differently. When you wake up, don't just go on your phone, do what Natalie is gonna do starting from today. If you like the way I explained this, I have another video where I do the exact same thing with my iPad, so check it out below. At the end of the day, do you know that quote, "You can't build something beautiful with broken materials"? It's true, you are what you consume, so change what goes in, watch what comes out.